Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen the town grow.
You
Amazing.
don't look
There
humorous.
was no Miami Lakes.
You don't look humorous, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right,
So
we
that's
are,
your-
oh, let me add the captions.
Put it this way, the terminal was on 36th Street. It was an old wooden building. Came in on a C-46.
C-46. How old were you?
5, 6. I know it was Thanksgiving Day.
That's awesome. That's great to be thankful for, right?
All right, we are live. Today is 10:25, 6:18 PM.
Okay, we call the meeting to order, and roll call. I don't have the list.
You can just say your name and everything.
Angel Del Fuente.
Wait, is your timing good?
Because I need to take notes. So let's sober.
Marcelino Sotolombo.
Sam Budlong?
Agenda, I'm sorry.
Yep, that's it.
This one?
That's the agenda and the second paper behind it as well.
Oh, I thought that was all the notes from the last.
Yep, those two.
Patrice,
And then
say your
there's-
name, say present. And your name.
Present. Patrice Morales, present.
Everyone, Angel, Gisela, Sam, Marcelino, and Patrice all present. We do have quorum. So we can go right into order of business.
Referrals, additions, and deletions. And the reason for this meeting was for the picking of the stocking of fish, is that correct?
Yes. Is there any additions, deferrals, or deletions to the current agenda as it is presented? None. Okay, we'll go into public comments. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? Seeing no one,
Crickets.
public comments will be closed, and then we can go into the approval of minutes for 9:15.
And you had said you didn't have them, or do you have them?
No, they're there.
These are the minutes. I don't know the agenda.
It's on there as well.
Oh,
It's-
is it?
Everything is, I did double sided. I'm
Oh.
trying to save.
Okay, I'm trying to check off my stuff. Okay. Yeah, the minutes are behind that, right?
Okay.
Just add a comment for the record that it's a good job what you put on the reverse side of the agenda.
Oh, for the agenda for the mail out? That
Yes.
was you guys.
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah,
who told
right,
me to do
right.
that. That was
Yeah.
on you guys.
You put it,
Yeah, yeah.
you put ink to paper, and that's good.
Okay, and old business.
Will we need to, a motion to approve the
Oh,
minutes?
yeah, right. Motion,
Motion to approve?
okay, I'll
Is there a
second.
motion?
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Passed. Now we can go into the whole business.
Okay. We have the advisory report on the lake conditions. Did we get that? Did he, was he gonna do another test?
Correct, for Lake Patricia, because we already received the
Patricia.
results from Hilda. Patricia, they did take the samples, but we haven't received the results back from the lab as of yet. So once they come in though, if there's anything alarming, I'll just go ahead and email that out to you guys. That way you guys are aware immediately. That was requested last meeting, so I will do that as soon as I receive those results.
Unauthorized activities on the beach. I experienced it again today. I drove by and people fishing there. I mean, it's like,
What time around was it?
it was probably 5:45, something. There was 2 gentlemen fishing.
With a rod and reel?
Yeah,
Okay.
and they were all, their 20s or whatever. So it's just an issue that's going to be an ongoing issue, and
Do you notice them consecutively around that time or it
No,
just changes? Because I was gonna say. we
it's
can
a hit and
request
miss
it.
type thing, somebody decides, hey, let's go, cast a couple times and it happens. And I don't know, I haven't seen anything else. Anybody else seen any other activities that?
No, I haven't noticed on mine. The only part I come down and then they put the new
Curbs?
curbs, which is right where the one spot people could park because there's nowhere to park there at all. So the one spot that they were there, now the curve is there, and the sign is there now. But I haven't noticed anybody in ours.
Good.
Good to know.
Okay. Any,
I have noticed a lot more dogs, at least in my backyard.
Ducks.
Maybe it's
Dogs.
Dogs,
ducks or
Dogs or
dogs.
Dogs.
Ducks.
Ducks.
like barking dogs.
No, no,
No.
no, ducks.
We have a lot
Okay.
more geese.
I
I
saw you this morning.
sent all mine to you.
They were on top of the roof of
Yes.
No, it could be seasonal. I know there's a whole bunch.
Is there anything that we can do about them? Can we retire them to a farm or something?
the Muscovies, there's a service, but we have to pay for it.
Right.
Um,
I personally would
They-
be all in favor of that for the
Me too.
Muscovies and the Egyptian geese.
Those are the ones that
They're both non-native species.
And the
Right,
iguanas.
they're very invasive.
Yeah, the
I'm
iguanas
very,
also.
very, very concerned about the iguanas, and this may have been off topic, but because when I lived in Celebration Point in the back where the canal was, they started, right? And you saw some over the years, they multiplied by the thousands.
Mhm.
And now I've seen a few in our lake for the first time ever, and I know it's gonna happen. They are gonna take over. They just proliferate like crazy.
But just pray for a cold
I know
snap.
it's never cold enough.
And then throw them all the way to
I
the
think
ground.
we're gonna have to
No.
look at alternatives, but
Why don't we do this? I'll make a motion that we look into adding this as a budget issue for the future for duck removals and maybe iguana control.
And geese, Egyptian geese.
Yeah, well, geese, duck,
Duck removal,
and
We can be specific.
iguana,
and
yeah.
possible iguana control.
Duck,
I-
geese,
I-
iguana removal or control.
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
I second that motion.
I think we have some control.
Second is plenty. All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that motion passes. I will look into getting quotes for it so that we can try to incorporate that into our
Our
next
next budget.
budget. Perhaps this one, if it's a possibility, if we have leftover funds, maybe there's a chance that there's a
yeah.
little wiggle room there, we can do that.
Yes,
I know the only issue we'll run into is, Muscovies are not, put this way, they're not taken somewhere else.
You're not
and
allowed to
released.
move them, right? You're not allowed to relocate them.
Right, they would eliminate them.
Eliminate them.
Oh,
They would not relocate
So
them.
we might run into a
Yeah.
battle with,
Other
you know, with
residents.
Yeah.
people saying, oh, you know, the animals, this and the other, but
Yeah.
they are an invasive species
Yeah.
and they will, get rid of them.
There was a public comment a meeting or two ago. Remember where there was someone who, was it this meeting? But there was someone who was talking about, I haven't seen the ducks, they must be dying,
Right.
somebody's killing them, we need to look into
Right.
this. So
There
that you're
was.
absolutely right, there could be that adverse reaction, so, but, we can definitely look into it and at least obtain quotes and then we can go from there.
do I put that under new business? Where do I put it?
That's under, future considerations, it's
Oh,
under
future
old business.
consideration. Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, I got it.
And then, we'll go on to the fish stocking and maybe.
Yes, I did email you guys those quotes, a little different than what we paid in the past. I do have some of the copies with me, but it was 2 pages, so I tried not to do too many. I have, here's a Hilda,
I missed that.
here's a Hilda. It was in the last, not the last email that I sent reminding you of the meeting. This is a Hilda,
I missed it
this is a Hilda,
until I was driving.
another Hilda. No. That was the only number, sorry. We can just, if you want to look on those together, and then I have a couple
This is
Patricia's.
Hilda Patricia.
These are all Hilda's now.
All right.
That was Hilda, now Patricia's coming up next. This is Patricia. This is Patricia. Patricia. Here's another Patricia. So if you look on the last page on the back of it, you'll see the actual quantities of the sizes. I know we requested from the vendor, you know, their recommendation on the ones that would probably do well, along with the numbers to kind of guarantee their success in the different lakes. You'll notice that the number is slightly different from each. It is based on, you know, the size of the lake. And so that is the quote that we just received for that. On our budget, I believe we generally pay 1,500 with again, that's mostly the small mouth. That's the bass.
Big mouth bass.
Big mouth. Is it
Large
big mouth?
Large mouth.
Large
Big
mouth.
mouth, large mouth.
Very well.
Largemouth bass. So that's generally we budget for that at 1,500. So these quotes are a little bit higher than what we currently have budgeted for. There is a little extra in potential carry forward if you guys did want to move forward with this particular recommendation. I think that was kind of the reason for this meeting, right? We kind of wanted to look at that and figure out if we plan on doing it now. In the email, I did let you know, he said that if we wanted to move forward with the largemouth bass, that wouldn't be able to happen until,
June, I think he said.
is that what he said? I want to
Yeah.
look at the email. I sent it out, but I just want to make sure before I say the whole thing.
He said in the spring.
You know,
He did say spring.
he had said that the carp was not really, you know, they didn't, I guess, function as maybe we thought they did. But I've got a buddy of mine that comes every morning and he's eating the bottom. Big carp. I think, you know, I think they did a good job. We got a bunch of them quite a few years ago, and I think they help. I think carp, a largemouth, smallmouth bass, something like that would be ideal.
Yeah.
When you guys are ready, he is also available for a call again, like last time. So if we want to, go through everything and, pinpoint, write a few questions down, because I also want to go over the aeration quote as well. And then that way we can call him with any questions we have overall.
I was expecting to see bass in here, why? didn't
Yeah.
you?
So largemouth bass would not be available until the spring. So that's why they're not included on this initial quote. Because we requested one that'll be ready like immediately. That was why we had this meeting.
So do we get 2 stockings a year?
We do one fish stocking a year based on what you guys choose and decide. So if you move forward with these guys, it would be now and it would be this without the largemouth bass. If you want to split it, maybe there's an opportunity to split and maybe
Do
do
this
some
now
large
and those
bass in
later.
spring. Perhaps there's an option to do that.
I just think the gambusa is a waste of money.
This
That's
was,
a little one that it's.
Because
the
that's just
mosquitoes,
feeding
right?
the peacock bass.
Right.
Very small.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not
about
sure.
they're a little about an inch.
this was brought up, that concern was brought up
Yeah.
on the phone with him last week, and he did say with the amount that they drop, they are confident that there is a successful.
But how big do they grow? They don't grow that much.
The bluegill aren't huge.
1 to 2
Oh.
inch.
Well, that's,
No, but
No,
the,
that's what they're
us.
giving.
but
Well,
the
that's
bluegill
at
is
that
bigger than the
size.
gambusa. I mean, I have a lot of bluegills on my side of the lake, and they're pretty big.
well,
How big?
They're big.
5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches?
Let's see how.
Estimate, like, so,
Yeah, they're about 6 inches, I think.
Mhm.
But they're more like a round fish.
Yeah.
And what kind of fishing?
Bluegill.
Uh-huh.
To
They're
me,
good
I
for-
would be more in favor of
This is our.
bass type fish. that are, you know,
Those are
and-
peacocks.
No, it says here, bluegill.
They're not big, they're not big.
May I see
Well,
that?
would you just prefer to do the bluegill with the other one
Yeah,
you're talking about
that's a
instead of
bluegill.
the game?
Oh,
See,
that looks
if
different.
we
Let me
use,
try.
if we do,
stripes
if
that
we
you
do
have
this,
there.
then we won't have
That's
any
a
money
bluegill.
for bass.
This one says bluefish, but I did the search for
So-
bluegill. Okay, do it again.
The bluegill have a little blue spot right here. That's why they call them bluegills.
Mhm.
Do you know what the amount was that we had for the stocking? Was it 1,500?
1,500. For Lake Patricia, 1,500. And for Lake Hilda, that should be on the back, same 1,500.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know, my opinion, I guess you could say, I would go with like 500 for bluegill and leave 1,000 for bass in the spring. That would be my recommendation.
That sounds good.
May I ask for your patience with my not following this completely? We're currently paying 1,500?
That's how much we have budgeted for our fish stocking line item.
Or
For
just
what
for
kind?
one lake?
Or
For
what?
what, for
lake?
each lake.
For
Yes.
each lake?
Yes, on the budget here, it has the amount
Mhm.
that we usually pay for the fish
Oh,
stocking.
And for a specific kind of fish?
I think that's the one that we've been stocking it with, which has the, let me go back to. Let's see here. I believe it, was it largemouth, was it bass and bluegill?
Yes,
If I'm not
yes,
mistaken, I'm gonna pull it up in my computer side.
yes.
And neither of those seem to have survived?
The bluegills have survived. And bluegills are good for mosquitoes. They eat the larvae.
So then we don't need the gun washing.
If you,
That's what that's what I'm hearing most, anyway, have said, that if
The-
we're
the-
concerned they're small, maybe
I mean, because the peacocks are vicious and
They-
they eat
yeah.
everything.
and they breed like crazy.
While we're waiting for Sam, did anybody complete the survey? Looking at this, one person did, that was on Lake Patricia.
what survey?
With surveys.
So the survey's on the back, it was mailed out on the back of the agenda.
Was it me?
Was it you? If you're asking, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
If you're asking.
Oh, I didn't even see them.
Well,
Is
this
that
is
something we're
agenda.
supposed to be
I don't
able to
have it.
see for feedback?
Yes, this is what we requested to
Oh,
put out,
yes.
that way we can kind of
Yeah.
gauge if we're heading in the right direction.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't think we were supposed to.
Well, you're right, I did look
because,
at
you
You,
know,
you,
right.
you are a resident, so, I mean, I think it
Yeah.
would make sense for your input to be included in that as well. And if you guys are the only 7 that do it, at least we know for future reference, are we gonna spend our time to put a survey out via that route? Maybe
Yeah.
not, maybe we'll try a different route next time. If you guys didn't see it yourself on the back of the
I
agenda, but
did,
maybe you
I
guys weren't
did.
looking because you know you attend the meeting, so
Mhm.
maybe,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
I wasn't looking for it.
But I did see it, now I remember, I thought the same thing, I said, well, I'm not gonna
You weren't
judge
sure if you
myself.
should do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we
ours-
cannot put together.
Right.
except
I was here the
question.
last meeting and my name does not appear on them
Did I
as a
not?
present.
So then before we approved them, that should have been noted on it. That's why we look at the
Quick, quick.
minutes. That is why we look at them. That's okay.
That
So
was my mistake, sorry.
we'll need to amend that motion. So if someone would like to make,
make a motion to amend the minutes to reflect
For the attendance.
the attendance record.
specifically that,
I second the motion.
okay.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that motion passes. I actually, when I do the attendance, I actually watch the meeting and see who's there, and I do it usually through that. Sometimes I'll do it as I'm sitting here. So it does say that you were here last meeting.
I'd like to open up a broader question for the fish issue. Why do we need fish in the first place?
Well, with the carp, they eat their bottom feeders, they eat the grass. Bass and so forth, I guess mosquito control or whatever.
The bluegills are mosquito control.
I think that I read that having the fish in the lakes kind of helps with, we don't necessarily have like an aeration system, but them blowing their bubbles kind of acts as moving some of the different stuff that's kind of settled at the bottom of the lake. But that is a great question that we can ask Jeff, because he did say it was an option to give him a phone call. So we can definitely throw that in there to see like, hey, is this something that you're recommending that we do? And you think, you know,
Right. My brain thinks, are we trying to encourage fishing? Is it something that is visually pleasing?
No, I think it's
Is it-
for the health of the lake.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
that's
would
what
be
I
a
thought
viable,
too.
Yeah.
good answer. Okay.
To me, it's visual.
I think so too. There are times, especially in the late spring, when the clarity of the lake water is
Mhm.
very good. I've seen
Yeah,
50
a lot of them.
peacock bass, they're cool. It's like a herd of buffalo going by your house. When they're-
To me, it's a sign of.
Well, like I said, I've got that
healthy-
one
Yeah.
carp at
Yeah.
8:30,
I was
they're
also
eating at
saying
the bottom
if
there.
it's- yeah,
Right.
because something is wrong with the lake.
Yes.
I come out at 7 o'clock every morning and I feed the fish and the turtle.
Right.
And I have like an audience. They're already
Waiting.
waiting.
you're like, hey, Pops, put in the good stuff.
I got a video and no one believes me, but back in the days, I hand fed a big mouth, a large mouth. He would come and eat out of my hand.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I think,
It's consistency every day.
yeah.
So is there
Training.
so on fish stocking, does someone want to make a motion about anything, or are we still just discussing and not making any movements? Because the quotes are a little bit higher than what we budgeted for. So there's 2 things we can ask. We can say, can you go back and make it fit within our $1,500 stocking budget? That those same types of fish or different fish, I just want to know what the board would like to do moving forward. So if somebody wants to
Um,
maybe make a
I would-
motion.
I would
or-
say since we can't stock the fish, the big mouth until spring, hold off on this one. Until we get closer to the spring, and then I would put big mouth and bluegills in there.
And that was my thing too, is,
Just waiting till the spring?
Wait till the spring.
yeah, that's what we have to do.
I kind of feel in that direction also. I'll add, when I moved here, which is in 1993, the lake was sort of evenly split between peacock and largemouth. And now there aren't any largemouth. They haven't been there for years. The peacocks, I believe, are the reason
Yeah.
why they eat them. But the largemouth bass, they were fun to fish. If you ever got a hook into one, they jumped out of the water. It was like you're on Wild World of Sports watching it.
Yeah,
But-
they do fight.
But is there, do those peacocks need to be controlled by something? Are they overpowering everything else?
I think
That's-
they've also mentioned that there's
Yeah.
nothing they can do unless if we wanted to put some bigger largemouth bass
else do we
instead
need?
of the two.
We need a fishing tournament.
I was gonna say, I have heard of places that open up for a tournament to see who can catch the most peacock bass. And
I mean, if
I wouldn't
trying to deter that
Well,
activity.
fishing, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if hosting a huge event will be too helpful.
That's true. This would have to be.
after this event, you
Only
go to
the-
jail.
Like, you're all done, please follow Officer, Ruiz this way.
That's true.
Well, should we make a motion for that?
I like the idea of the largemouth when it's most beneficial. You can devote the money towards that.
So
Do you wanna
I'll
make
second your motion for
All right.
the,
I don't think you made a motion, but go ahead and make it.
It's the motion.
Motion.
This is for her, because she needs to write it word for word.
Right.
To wait
Motion to
until spring
to
to
stock
the lake.
fish
defer
in
the,
spring.
defer the
To use
purchase of the fish
$1,500.
until
$1,500.
Yeah.
Stocking
Just spring.
largemouth.
and make it peacock and bluegill. I mean, not peacock, largemouth and bluegill.
Well, did you want to split it?
Largemouth and
Is that the
bluegill.
deal? $750 each?
Well,
Whatever.
they'll give the
No, I
amount that
think
they.
it's
they can
$1,500
make
a
and
lake.
review.
A lake,
It
right?
is.
But how do you
But
split that
split it,
between the two fish?
largemouth and the bluegill.
Oh,
Right, 750 for bluegill, 750 for largemouth, and there's your
Depends on the
$1,500.
price.
I think it was a little different than
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
Yeah, because depending on the
I-
size, it was a little different.
Yeah,
The cost is what
We don't know the,
would make
the
the
largemouth.
break.
I can pull one up from last year in just a minute here, and then we can,
I mean,
But that-
50/50 sounds good, but we don't know the price.
Right.
if
Yeah.
you're already seeing bluegill,
I have
would
bluegill.
would you
more.
think that devoting 1,500 to largemouth might make sense?
'Cause there's so
That's
many.
probably true. That might make more sense.
so then do you only want to do largemouth?
Yeah.
With the
Yes.
entire amount to kind of help beef up the pop?
Yeah.
Is that
population.
too much?
I want to
I'm
know,
going on
I
my
want to know
friend's,
what are the pros.
Uh,
Yeah,
Because if we need something for the health of the lake and the bass doesn't do it, we need to find out what does it.
I do see tons of cichlids.
What is that?
You know what cichlids are?
No.
You know what cichlids are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of them.
What are they?
Maybe we Google
They're
and
an
find.
invasive
Yeah,
aquarium species that let go into the lakes. and
Oh, a
They're like,
goldfish?
no,
you call them, they're like a crappie. They can get up pretty good size.
yeah, they're big. I have,
So,
Are they dangerous?
no,
No,
okay,
they're very, easygoing. They don't attack anything.
so, but
Tracy,
the bluegill help with the mosquito control, does the largemouth help? with
And the
mosquito
grass.
control?
But we already have the bluegill.
Oh, we have a lot, that's right, we have a lot of bluegill, that's why we're
Yeah,
trying to balance out with the largemouth.
Do we have them? Do we have them?
we, in one of the stocks that we did, there was bluegills in there, but it was mostly carp. But there were other
but you know
fish.
what? A question for me to ask him, what's the life expectancy of a bluegill? Because if a bluegill
I
only
think that's
lasts,
something we can probably like Google, no?
I don't know.
You know, that was another thing to find out too, because when we got the carp, they were sterile. They would have their life expectancy, then they die off, they don't breed.
Right,
So we gotta make sure that the bass are not
Oh.
sterile, so they will populate,
or
Yeah.
the bluegill.
well, the bluegills, right?
That is a great question for him, if they're
Yeah.
sterile or not, because
Right.
Yeah.
life expectancy is 8 to 10 years.
We're good.
Yeah, do we need them to
Um,
repopulate at that point, or do we, so that maybe we don't have to fish stock year after year?
Well, I would
Yeah.
say,
Yeah. they should.
Well, the
Go the route.
bluegills would be, food for the bass, right? I'm not,
I don't
not if
know.
they're 6 inches or more
hmm,
in length.
depends
They've
on
already,
how
they've
big
already
those bass-
escaped the jaws of their predators.
Which one, how big?
The ones that, the bluegills.
Yeah, the
Say,
bluegills.
that was
Did,
the
did
photo
you get
had
a
was
second
big.
for that motion, or is it still on the table?
No, did anybody second that? Well, we said, yeah, about
He
the
seconded.
spring, you seconded it for
But I-
spring.
I
to
think,
defer
I
to
think we
spring.
want to retract it though.
Yeah, because now we've gone into all
But
this
we
other
have
stuff. I
to
think that's
second
where I was
whether
hanging.
to, what fish, which,
Because we-
fish type or just one type.
Yeah.
We were talking bluegills and
Yeah.
largemouth, now we're saying just,
We don't know the cost, so we don't know what
Yeah.
we'd get for a 50-50 split.
But do we want to wait until we have him on the phone
wait,
for
wait,
what
wait,
his
wait.
recommendation would be?
I think
See,
so.
this just helps.
We should ask that question.
Because I mean, we're over here, saying ABC, and he may say, well, wait, we add those for this reason,
For a
or
reason,
the
exactly.
amount for a certain reason.
Yeah.
So do we want
Yes,
to
we can
wait
wait.
and,
After the phone call?
correct?
I remember clearly he said gambusia is good for the mosquitoes, it eats the larvae.
Yeah, they're this tiny.
And they're gonna
Yeah,
get eaten
right,
up by
exactly.
They're
the
gonna get eaten up by the,
parrot, is it? What is
That's
it
why
called?
he's recommending it.
peacock.
Peacock.
He said that they do deliver enough to guarantee a success.
yeah, so 7,000 for Lake
But do we
Patricia.
have a big
Yeah.
mosquito
They go
problem? I
there.
don't think we do.
Maybe that's
I-
because they're
I
doing their
don't-
job.
I don't think so. That's another
We
good
don't
one.
have mosquito
Mosquitoes, I
problem.
think, come with a lot of the algae, and the algae has been virtually eliminated,
Yes.
which
So much
would
better,
take
yeah.
care of a lot of any mosquito issues, I think.
So does everybody have their questions for the fish stocking? Because I'd like to move to the next one, because we have less than 15 minutes to
Okay.
make the call and finish the
Okay.
agenda.
Personally, I would second a motion to use the 1,500 for largemouth. If at this point of the meeting is for fish stocking, we ought to try and
I agree.
get
But I thought we
through it.
were gonna call him first, right?
It's up to you guys.
To
We don't
me-
have to have a phone call with
I
him
don't
if you
think we-
guys,
To me,
this
I
issue,
would,
I
I
don't
would
think
say
we
with
need-
largemouth bass too.
Yes,
either way, if we're deferring till spring, we'll have
Yeah.
multiple meetings until then
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
okay.
So-
And then when we have our
Yes,
budget, so
adjust.
what fish we pick doesn't really matter right now.
Yeah.
May I make a motion then?
Well, there is already one on the table, so we would either need to
Retract it.
amend
Amend
that
it.
motion to
Amend it.
reflect what you're stating now.
Okay,
And
I
one
make a
sorry.
motion to amend the previous motion that we instead use the $1,500 to stock largemouth bass in the spring.
Second,
All those in favor?
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I vote with them. I don't know enough about the
Yeah,
pros
yeah.
and the cons.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes, and we can still get more information on all that.
Do I have
We
to
can
write
modify
I will
this
it.
add,
motion?
I will add, I don't have high hopes
Do
of
I?
success.
Just write what the past motion
Because
is.
of what I've seen in the
Okay.
past,
No,
of how
Okay.
virulent the peacock bass are at killing other fish. But I think we'll try it again and see what happens. And he's got bluegills growing big. We'll see what happens.
But we're not saying we're gonna put peacock anymore, right?
No, they, okay.
okay, the next item is the floating solar devices beyond our, the
Recording
rights.
rights. Mhm. So we actually had a phone call with Sam and with our
Oh,
attorney
good.
to kind of try to hash it out, right? And kind of put a pen to paper to start, figuring out what the situation is. So he was able to clearly hear what, the board is concerned about, and that's individuals putting, barriers past their riparian rights inside of the lake and other different floating devices that we've seen in the different lakes. And so we actually already have a calendar in the books to meet with the director, Jeremy, the manager at Peterman, as well as the Tony Lopez, to let's hash it out, figure out our next steps. And like Sam did mention, on the property appraiser's office website for Dade County, it actually says that the county still owns the lake. That may or may not be the case. We'll have to look into that and see if that's just something that they missed. They didn't update when, it got handed over to us.
Typical,
Cor-
typical.
Yeah.
That's what I.
Stuff.
So it's great that it's being
Amazing.
brought, brought to
Yeah.
light, so now we can figure it out and correct whatever it is, and if
Yeah.
it's as simple as us, mailing out something to all of the property owners, letting them know, please don't do this because it affects the maintenance of the lake, which technically it absolutely does. If anybody's putting anything in the lake, it would need to get approval first, a permit, just like any part of your home. Any enhancement that you're trying to do, you don't just go doing things, right? You need to make sure it's done properly and done safe and doesn't affect any of the communal areas around it. And so I think with that, we'll definitely be able to, move on that as soon as they determine the actual ownership of the lake.
Excuse me, you mentioned a calendar meeting. Do you know when that's set for?
November 1st, yes, I'm in that meeting.
Is that gonna be at the lake itself?
No. It's not scheduled to be on the lake. It'll be here in town hall.
And you mentioned a number of names, Tony Lopez, Jeremy, is that?
Jeremy Backhound's the
Okay.
Director of Parks and
Right,
Recreation,
right.
Tony Lopez and Ed Peterman, as well as the town attorney, Mr. Cloutier, and myself.
But you do the meeting at the lake so you guys can show them what they look like.
Do the meeting at the lake, I will be sure to have pictures. I will have pictures so that they can see, because I know I've received, I think you sent me a picture of the yellow barrier. No, I think you texted me pictures.
I did that. Oh, goodness.
You might have, that's okay. I'll find it. I'll get the pictures and make sure that they're present so they can see what it looks like and see that it's, sometimes it's yellow, like there's no checks and balances, right? Things are just being added, where if you wanted to add a deck, you would need to get something like that permitted. So I think that falls in line with anything else and would require a permit.
Okay, and that covers the barriers along the resident shoreline.
Correct. And I think, well, that had to do more with what was added when they were
Added.
doing that, when they were
Construction.
correct.
The
I will
name of that
remove that one
meeting
moving forward.
is, what is that meeting?
Riparian rights.
Preparing.
The next item is the test results.
Correct. I did not receive them just yet. I put them on there hoping that we would get
Okay.
the ones from Patricia. We already did reviews from Hilda and
Okay.
everything was good to go there. But we did not receive the ones for Lake. We received them for Hilda, but not Patricia. As of now. So I will send them out as soon as I receive them.
Do
Okay.
you have an expectation of when that would be?
He said it takes 5 days for them to return it to him, and he did it last week. He said they officially got the samples to the lab
Thursday?
last week. Was it Thursday?
Yeah, I think Thursday's when I saw them going around the lake.
Oh, perfect. So then, yes, it would have been Thursday. And then he said 5 days. I can assume that's business days, so we might have them sometime later this week. So we'll see.
Okay, then the new business, the draft survey on how to become a member.
So that was mailed out this last time on the back of the agenda. It had the information and everything like that. I also included in it, because Jeremy told me we send this out annually, was the Care for Your Lake. So I updated it with my information in case if anybody, wanted to reach out. And then it does have the information about the wildlife, the Egyptian geese, and different things like that. So that was also added into that mail out to satisfy that.
Proposal and review.
So the next proposal that we received is the aeration proposal. I had to send them the geolocation of where we would be pulling power from for them to show us how many aeration systems would need to be at the bottom. I have a few of these so you can see. This is particularly Lake Patricia, and for some reason he didn't send me. I have 4 of these, so if you don't mind sharing some of them. That's Lake Patricia only. And that's because he misunderstood my request and did not provide Hilda's, but he will send it to me before the next meeting. But the price for this project at Lake Patricia alone is about $22,761.
That's not bad.
So that's what it is from this particular
They were talking
location.
about 70,000 for an area.
Aeration.
That is for installation.
Oh, right.
Now, I guess we have to get with him, but this is some kind of solar powered or electric.
No, we would have to pull from a power source,
Okay.
which is gonna be our park. So if you see it circled,
Yeah.
the little area, that's where they would be pulling from. And the story would be very similar for Lake Hilda, just based on its size and where they feel they would be needed based on the depth and everything like that.
Yeah, and he said the majority of the cost would have been if we didn't have the power source, right? So
It depends on how far the power source would be from each thing. So if we had multiple power sources,
Yeah.
it probably would be a little
But at
bit
least
better.
there's
So they
one.
didn't have to
I didn't know
wire
we
from
just
so
had
far.
one.
I know on Miami Lakeway South, east, right between Maddie's parents'
yeah.
house, there is a power source there on, but it's on the
Who
other
does
side.
it belong to? It would need to be abutting the lake.
It is on the lake, but it's by the sidewalk.
Yeah,
Well, if it's at the park, if it's in the
It's
parks,
right here.
then it's.
Oh, I
you
see
know,
what you're saying about.
I think most of the parks have a power source.
Do you know
They
who
have a
owns that?
sprinkler
It's,
system.
it's the city's,
It's the city's
yeah,
power source.
city's power source.
yeah.
I'll look into it and see if that's an option as
Yeah.
well. I don't know if that
As
would
far
change the
as,
price at
the
all.
power for the lighting for the.
I'll show you where it's at.
Yeah, and the
I mean, that's
sprinkler
right where they
systems
were doing all
have.
that.
It's FPL,
No,
it's
it's a little
FPL
further
property, right?
It's
Is
in
it
this area.
FPL's?
It's in this area.
So
Also, that lift station has got power.
It's
The
in that
city
area.
power.
That thing that
It's in
they
that
just
You
sidewalk.
can
did,
get power
right?
from there.
Okay, can I keep this or no?
Yeah.
Well, later,
Yeah.
if you want, I'll take it
All right.
after.
Yeah.
Power source.
And so these are all those, so you said how much, 22,000?
Yeah, there's a paper right there, 22,761.
So there's only one power source?
Correct. It
Well,
would be the
no,
beach
there-
park that directly abuts, it's right next to the lake.
So one
since
power
the town
source that
owns it-
takes care
owns it,
of all the
Correct.
devices, okay.
Yeah, that picture
Hopefully.
shows how it's connected to each one.
Hopefully we can tap into
They
So
the.
now we're-
only have one.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
do have about 6 minutes. I'm sorry, I don't want to rush.
Okay.
Okay.
But I do
But
want to-
everything connects
I'm
to
gonna
one another?
bark in a negative to this project idea. The purpose of looking at this was for algae control.
Right.
Since algae is no longer there because of what we're doing to increase the treatments, I don't think that this is any longer necessary.
I don't think it's completely done, and I don't know what it is, but I mean, if you step, I mean, the water gets disturbed, even if it is a minimal disturbance, I can see more brown stuff coming up. I don't know if the aeration system will help with that. But
guess-
even when the dogs,
See,
they walk out of the
the
water.
lake has
it's
no
sticky.
circulation. This is a way to circulate that water, which will clear it up, which means we would use less chemicals and less coloring. That's what the advantage would be.
And I think it'll remove some of that muck from the bottom.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard too, and I think it's needed because even when the dogs get out of the water and walk into the grass, you can see that it gets muddy. I mean,
I mean,
very
the,
easy.
at the peak times of the year, there's still algae. It's not as bad as it was. But there's, I mean, my area gets pretty heavily inundated and I'm like even shoveling the bottom, like, but, I don't know, to your point, I mean, if it makes it healthier and then there's less need for this,
That's a great
Chemical.
question.
I think it's a
If we
good
were
point
to add and
because,
install these, would we need
because-
to continue a monthly lake
well,
service?
no, and having, right, I mean, ideally the goal would be to
It
get
could
it
go
back
every
to a
2 months or
natural,
something.
more natural state and not a
Right.
chemical state. Which eventually is probably gonna be another problem, you know, by all this chemical over time. Just like he said, some of this is from the chronic chemicals, just like antibiotics. You use antibiotics forever, then you have another problem. You got resistance.
Well, and the other thing is, if we use this and we cut back on chemicals, the electric supply for this might be a lot less than the chemicals. So there could be some savings. We have to look at that.
We would also have to pay for the power that'll
That's
definitely
what
go
I'm
up
saying.
once we have one.
The use for the power
Yeah.
for this might be a lot less than what we're paying for the chemicals. It could be more, I don't know.
I don't want to be too negative, but any liabilities associated with putting electricity in water,
Okay, this would be low voltage,
does that mean? there's no
24
risk?
volts. It'll hurt you, make you jump,
It'll tickle.
but
But, well,
won't kill you.
Is anybody else
It's like a
doing
taser.
this? Anybody putting those types of underwater systems?
I believe
In one of
at,
the other lakes, right?
I
think somebody
believe, is it Lake Martha?
Martha's got the,
The fountain.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fountain, the surface
Oh,
fountain.
they said that does.
Well, we
that's
can
just
ask
below.
him that. I mean, like, how does that work? I mean, of course you can't put anything in it that's gonna zap anybody.
But,
but-
and
then
they
how do
would
you
go
keep it
deep
from-
down, right? They're not.
Yeah, they're at the
floating
bottom.
underneath.
They're at the
Right.
bottom.
That's
So
the whole
if someone
idea.
is
to be at the
swimming,
bottom.
they shouldn't
But,
be touching.
I mean, you have to have a cable going from a land-based source
Down
fed-
2 feet.
at some point on somebody's
Yeah.
property.
it's just like a pool.
Yeah, exactly.
The light is in the water, so is the cable going to the water.
Right.
But it's low voltage.
So we do have like 3 minutes. Do you guys want to run through the different questions you want me to ask him? And I can write him an email with those questions and then forward the responses to you guys. Is that something you would want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to find out what
Hold
the
on.
projected cost would be for electrical use roughly. And does it have to run
Use it
24 hours a
Projected
day
cost.
or 12 hours a day or?
For power
Electric and maintenance.
and maintenance.
And this is 22,000 hours.
General comments
Ours
on the
should be
effectiveness
less than
of this idea.
I don't, that's a lot of units there.
Yeah, we don't need that many
Yeah,
rates.
I don't know.
General comments on effectiveness.
Is there a monthly or yearly maintenance?
That was asked in
that has
number
to
one.
be- to
Yeah,
be
maintenance
performed?
and power is in that
Mhm.
first question.
He wasn't keen on the areators.
Up on the top,
Fountains,
right. He
but-
The
said that was
fountains,
useful.
he said that's just for
Yeah,
aesthetics.
aesthetics.
So,
And he said aeration diffusers at the bottom of the lake and above it recirculate with lots of benefits, reducing mud, flies, and mosquitoes. The size and the amounts are determined by the lake size. And the power supply.
So what you'd see is the bubbling in the water, right?
with this,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I'm going by what I've seen in
I
other
don't know.
lakes.
Have you seen? Poppy?
I could ask, will it produce bubbles that you can
Right,
see from
is
the
there
top?
a visual effect, something?
Is there any visual
Fine.
effects
Right.
from it? Positive or negative?
Right.
So if it's gonna,
Hello, hi. We're
Um,
wrapping up right now. We'll be done in just a second.
No. This young lady is looking, I think for you guys, she's late, but this
Oh,
is the
for the
paper
lake
she
maintenance
showed.
meeting?
Yeah.
You here for the lake maintenance meeting?
Yes, the Miami Lakes.
Oh, yes. Come on in. It did start at 6 and we're about to end at 7, but if you'd like to come on in, do you want to come and
Okay.
listen to what we're
Yeah,
discussing?
sure. I just wanted to ask a question, but.
Okay, I can speak with you after if you'd like, but if you want, you can definitely still. At the beginning of the meeting is public comments, when the public does have an opportunity to speak and ask questions.
Okay,
So, but I'll talk to you after this.
okay, thank you so much.
So, would it show the bubbles, visual effects, positive or negative?
and if it's gonna help against mosquitoes, maybe we can just, don't need the fish.
So would fish stocking be necessary if we went this route? Is that the question?
Yes, or
Gambusia is not-
or we can just go, when we start the fish, only use the big mouth. We don't have to worry about mosquitoes.
Okay. Is there any other questions for our maintenance guy? You want me to review what we have?
Yeah, I wanted to make another point, another comment about
Okay.
barriers that we went by. In speaking with the town attorney, I told him it would be my suggestion to the commission that we try and speak with homeowners who have these barriers and ask them if they might remove them on their own, now that they see that there isn't an algae problem in their shoreline. I think that's a reasonable way to do it without having to go through this legal issue
Right.
with respect to the barriers.
But I wanna-
Fountains and other things out in beyond the riparian rights is another issue, but with respect to the barriers,
But I will let the town send them a letter. right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let the town send them a letter.
Because you don't
that-
wanna hassle with your neighbors.
okay, that's why I bring it up.
I mean, I
Yes,
think
the town would
you
address
asked
it and saying, hey,
I
the
did,
lake,
yeah.
Yeah, you've seen.
Did you remove them?
No, not yet, but,
Okay.
but he
I
indicated,
think he indicated that he'd be interested in it.
yeah, he indicated they were there
It was
for,
reasonable based on
yeah.
the purpose of them initially and which seemed to be resolved, but yeah.
Okay. So that's definitely something we'll bring up in that meeting as well, and I'll provide you guys with notes and our next steps as well. So we can figure out, what the next steps are with that. So I guess no official movement on any of these items. Oh, the survey, I just looked and one person from Lake Patricia completed the survey. So if you talk to your neighbors, tell them to do the survey, encourage them to do the survey. I would encourage you guys to do it too. You guys are also property owners who can either see a difference or you don't, and I think we should hear it.
Can you tell us what the responses were in the survey that you received?
we can get that at the next meeting.
They live in Lake Patricia. Instead of answering yes or no to, I'll just pull it up quickly, they may be waiting to see.
You know when our next meeting will be at?
where are we, November? It should be the beginning of December, first or second week of December, either the 6th or 7th, depending on the availability. So from here on out, we should be every other month. When it comes around budget time, if we need to, do that, we'll probably have a few more. I actually have it up, yeah, because I was looking at it.
Just to make sure, so we did decide that we're gonna do the fish starting next year, right?
In the spring.
Yeah, and
It depends on the price.
and it comes later
Which
on, we
one?
might decide, look, we're not gonna do
We could, yeah.
it. We're just postponing
Correct.
until spring,
Yeah.
and then we'll address it again.
I guess if you have enough of
So
other
the
one.
first question was, do you live on Lake Hilda or Lake Patricia? This person lived on Lake Patricia. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate lake quality? They gave it a 7. Or number 3, do you think the current advisory board is moving in the right direction? And they put other, but they did not write where we requested for them to,
Answer.
jot why.
Elaborate, yeah.
Correct. And then question 4 said, starting October 2021, the board increased monthly lake service from once a month to twice a month. Have you seen a difference in lake quality? And they said, yes, 100%. Number 5, please share additional comments, good or bad. We want to hear from you. And they said, please continue to educate our neighbors that they should not feed the Muscovy ducks. Also, can you please work to remove them from our lakes?
We need to get that person here
Yeah,
to work with us.
They might be here. Anybody here right now? No, I'm only kidding.
I would have said that. but I
That sounds like Sam.
So again, talk to your neighbors, encourage them to do that survey. Just say, look, it's right on the bottom. Here's the link. If you want, I can also email it to you guys. That way, if you know if anybody's email and you just want to send it to them, that would be great also. So there was no quarterly chair meeting this quarter. It was rescheduled, and if we don't have the date for the next one. But once it is, we'll put it on there, and hopefully our chair will be able to make it, and we can move from there. All right, the time is 7:04.
I wanted to encourage my neighbors to decorate their boats for Christmas.
Oh,
Remember,
I
I
was thinking about
spoke to you about,
A couple of
remember,
years ago, we
Oh,
almost did
yeah.
that, and then we
Yeah.
got,
we got rained out.
rain.
So I organized a little boat parade. We all decorated our boats with Christmas lights, and we all had a theme,
Yeah,
and we had a weekend to go out, and
it was like this weird storm.
that's
Yeah.
weird.
Catherine had it, and I heard that it was beautiful.
We needed to-
We have never done it.
No.
Do we have a motion to,
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn.
all those second?
I do.
Second.
Which one? Okay.
The
Carlos
newbie, the
Sotolongo.
newbie.
All those in favor?
I
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. All right, have a great night. I will send these questions to our lake maintenance provider and get back to you. What about our next meeting? The next meeting will be in the first week of December, but I'll send that to you by the end of this month for sure. I'm scheduling a couple of others, so we won't meet in November, but we'll meet in December. And obviously, I'm sure nobody wants to meet the last 2 weeks of December, right?
No,
Right.
Sam,
So,
do we have a business operating out of a house? It says RV repair.
Fire truck and
RV repair, it comes out of a house.
check
when you
the,
Google stuff, you'll see private business, they use it as their address.
Yeah.
What time did you start for the purpose of the
Did you see
meeting
it?
minutes? Did you have
Yeah.
time exactly?
yes, it was 6, I think it was 6:18, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
because I walked in. probably just about
Yeah,
nine.
literally,
it was
that's
about-
when we were.
Oh, okay, so that's when I looked at my things.
Yeah,
that's-
because I know you said
perfect.
15, so we were waiting, I'm like, maybe something else happened. But yeah, and remember, this is also recorded,
Yeah,
so
so
you
I
can also.
usually go back.
You
and
have
look
it?
at it. I do. I
Public Safety Committee meeting, October 25th, 2022. Time is 7:13. And call the meeting to order.
Nancy Rogers,
Here,
Johnny Torres. Here. I'm here. Darwin Villavicencio.
No.
Absent. Jorge Peña.
Here.
Here. Luis Lopez. Absent. And Brandon Diaz. Absent. Officer Robin Amador.
He's
in
on
the
his way.
In the way.
honestly.
And the fire department, we don't know.
No, I guess I'm not making it.
So we have a
So sorry to interrupt. I locked them now. So they're locked as of now. So just listen out for the door if anybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night. Okay, any public comments? No. Order of business, I wanted to put a couple of things in here, and I'm not gonna try to do it off the top of my head right now. I don't know if there's notes with me, I'm sorry. If I think of them, I'll figure out a way to stick it in there.
So we can just open the order of business if needed.
Okay, good.
Oh, but while we're there, sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
One thing that I don't see in old business that I'd like to talk about with you guys is we talked about a video about crosswalks. I guess if you want to make it item 4 for old business.
You know what's funny is I didn't even put a spot for old business on here.
Okay, I guess you can add it to liaison comments.
Okay, cool. Number 4 then. And that's the,
No crosswalks. PSC.
okay.
I'm sorry, was it 7:03?
7:13.
7:13.
Are there any other additions or deletions, deferrals? I think I can squeeze a few things in here under new business. We'll get on with that. Okay, liaison, the budget update.
Okay, I see number 1 outstanding accounts payable amount. I think this is referring to, just so some clarification on how budget works, which I'm sure you guys have heard this a million times at this point, but budget year begins, our fiscal year begins October 1st, so the last day of September. So we're in a new fiscal year as of 25 days ago. So I gave you guys all a copy of our new budget. You see that right now there's $0 down the actuals column because we haven't spent a single dollar yet. So you guys have a total of 4,800. And then outstanding, for us, although we closed the year, what is it, September 30th? Our finance and budget department still needs to reconcile invoices that are coming in and all that. So in order for us to have 100% clear number of what your actual, like, is left for the year, we won't have that till like December or January, because we have to allow them that time to finish reconciling everything and for an auditor to come in and really confirm, you know, that that's our true number. So at that point, I can provide you guys with a real 100% accurate number of what your final expenses were for the year. And that would let me, that would allow me to let you guys know what, if you have any carryover funds, or if you had any funds left, what that amount is. So that's what I can give you. Huh?
So that's my carry.
So that's just letting you know what you spent and how much was left over. Now, this comes from the budget office. Nancy and I had a meeting with the budget officer, and the explanation given was that technically any money that is left over is just goes back to the general fund of the town. However, the recommendation is dollars that come in throughout that year. That is the money that, you know, a sponsor gave to you guys. So that's the money that the committee should really be asking for to carry over. However, you guys probably know that you didn't have any sponsorship dollars last year. So really that technically that money is supposed to just go back to the town. However, you guys as a committee, if you feel very strongly about wanting to request that money, you guys can discuss it as a committee, vote on it. If that's the agreement that you're gonna go to council, that's totally up to you guys, although it's not recommended by the budget office. If you guys want to do that, again, you have to wait until December, January, that I have a real 100% accurate number of what is left over, and based on that number, you guys can have that discussion.
We had made plans to spend the money and then the hurricane issue happened. How do we incorporate that? Because
I mean, that can be part of your explanation when you go request that leftover. I don't know if that's gonna, again, this is up to council, so I don't know how they're gonna react to that, but also keep in mind that, and this is just a recommendation even going forward, the committee should not be waiting till the last month to spend dollars. It doesn't seem as a necessity when you're waiting till the very last minute to figure out what to
That's
do
what I
with
was
those
gonna
funds.
say, like, they're gonna see it, in reality, if we needed that, those funding, we should have used it. In that way,
Excuse me.
I understand what that part that we need to wait until the breakfast to determine what's left, so we don't
Yeah.
overspend what we're supposed to have for that. And that's a point that we can let them know for the reason is because we didn't wanna shortchange the police and the firefighters. So that could be an explanation, but I'll see that they're gonna come back with, well, fortunately with everything going on, you know how it goes.
Again, you guys as a committee can decide to make that request. That's totally up to you guys. It's not recommended, but again, if you guys feel strongly about it, you know, you can do so.
If I may. To fill you guys in, I did have a meeting. with Iowa gang from finance by ourselves. Okay,
No.
Okay.
It's budget, you know, a budget officer, yeah.
All the names, you know. Anyway, we talked about it. They explained a bunch of things and details and options. And I, at that time, had agreed, and just informing Isle now, that, you know, for what it was gonna take and the aggravation and what it was and this and that, I didn't think it was worth the effort. I changed my mind because I remembered a few things. I am not happy, which will get us to 6A. Either I'll do it now, since we're on the
Let me
subject.
finish number 4, and then we can continue with your other
Okay.
items.
Okay, all right, but
Just for
that
the sake of
process
notes.
and what it is, there's a lot of reasons. Budget-wise, budget people, and like she said, you don't get all the figures in until the last minute. We have a plan in place already to move a few things around and activities around. And that's what made me start thinking later on, I'm not gonna give up the money, mainly because of the fact that we don't want that to happen again. So we're gonna change some of our events when we have them, we're gonna make changes. And we already voted on that as well a month or two ago. So when we get into the part where we go to that, I'll let you finish your comments and we'll get into that down here, okay?
So yeah, just, I guess number 4 that we just added was in regards to the crosswalk. So at the last meeting, you guys mentioned an issue about, I guess, things that you guys had seen about lighted crosswalks, like people not paying attention to them, or just like not even slowing down for pedestrians and wanting to make sure that pedestrians are aware that they should wait for the car to stop even if the lights are on. I don't know if you guys recall this conversation. But anyways, I went ahead and I took it back to the team. So in order for us to make a video, like video recording and production is expensive. So an estimated cost for that will take about $700 to $800. So that's just something for you guys to consider and discuss if you want to move forward with.
No. I say let's table that decision until we see what our money's gonna be and how we're gonna move around how and when we do certain things. We're not gonna talk about it tonight, but there's a process we have to go through. And as I think I explained it, that at first I was gonna say, never mind, just let the money go. But there is a process. It's accessible to us, and I think we should take the opportunity. And this is part of what you guys have to vote on tonight, that are we going to pursue hopefully getting the money, and then that'll pay if we are gonna make a crosswalks video, or maybe we can work something else out where it's not so expensive. And so we can table that issue about a video and the crosswalks. So can we get a vote to table the crosswalks for now? Go ahead, Beck.
Sorry, I forgot about this. Are we supposed to approve the minutes before everything else?
There was no minute sent in.
Huh?
There was no minute sent in.
When we was going to see
There was no minute sent in. I didn't receive any minutes,
it? I'll check that out. Okay,
but that's fine. We can just do it at the next meeting.
all right, no problem. All right, perfect, I'm sorry.
That's okay, no, I didn't even realize it either. All right, so the vote to table the crosswalks video is yes. Yes?
Yeah.
All in
We need a
favor?
motion?
I would, I think for minutes, we should try to stick to the motions and votes. Yeah, he asked if we need a motion.
So we need a motion to table the crosswalk talk
No,
for a future date.
okay. Do I get a second?
Awesome.
Discussion? No discussion? Okay,
And also,
I
are we
need
gonna do
Omar
a
to,
motion to discuss the leftover for next meeting, or we gonna address that now?
Can you, I'm sorry, because I
No,
think you guys
she
aren't
wanted us to do the
follow, yeah, we need a,
crosswalks first.
we haven't taken a vote on this. Before you move on to anything
No,
else.
but that's what we're doing,
No, I know, but he started discussing something else, so I'm just bringing you back to the item that's on the table.
right? So on the crosswalks, we do have a motion and a second to table it.
Yes.
Okay, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passed. And the carryover funds you have explained, everybody understood that, right? Okay, so now we can go to new business. This is where Nancy,
Do we need a motion for that one? or?
we're not there yet. For which one?
The.
For 6A?
Which one is
We're
it?
moving on to 6A, comment from the chair.
Oh, no.
All right, let's let you catch up. You got questions?
What we just discussed was item 5,
The crosswalk.
so it was number 4. She added it to liaison comments. She put number 4.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now, number 6A, comment from the chair. I'm a bit annoyed in that I recently found out that when on a Tuesday night, there was a council meeting, I was there. The hurricane was coming, so the council decided to close town hall Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. After the meeting, I had said something to Mr. Peterman, and he said something about, well, town hall's gonna be closed Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I said, well, that's wonderful, because we had a special call meeting for Wednesday, if anybody remembers. And so therefore, we were cheated out of our opportunity to discuss our leftover funds. Then, to make matters worse, I find out that not only did we get cheated out of our Wednesday meeting, but they closed town hall for Wednesday, but they opened on Thursday and Friday. Is that true or not?
Yeah, but it was never decided that town hall was closed Thursday and Friday, so I'm not sure that
Well,
that's
we
correct.
hit on, what Peterman told me was
I think-
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is what I understood at that
No,
meeting.
I can let you know what happened. Wednesday,
All right,
Thursday. No, because I think it's important to be clear about what happened. Wednesday and Thursday and Friday activities were canceled. That is correct. Town hall only closed on Wednesday.
Okay,
But anything like related to meetings or after, we have
Well-
programming and stuff that happened Thursday and Friday were also canceled.
okay.
So only like regular business hour things were
Let's
handled
see how
Thursday
a
and
game
Friday.
of telephone works.
Well, yeah.
Right,
That's why I wanted
so
to make sure that.
That's
to
why
let you
I'm
guys
clearing
know.
it up, because this way I and any others who might have heard that aren't gonna be as annoyed. So thank you for that explanation. There is a difference. Hello,
Good evening.
the chair recognizes our police rep. And I believe he has an opportunity to speak. And we'll go back to that now, yes?
Yes. Okay, good evening, everyone. So I have the year-to-date comparison to last year. We have, and the homicide has been added to it because before it wasn't added. So last year we were at 0, year to date we're at 2. Robberies 11, now 3. Last year we had 97 auto thefts, we're at 77, we're down. Commercial, we're at 6, we're at 4, we're down. Residential, we had 8, we're at 15. And that is something that we knew was gonna happen because everybody's coming back. So it's gonna keep going up. More people are back working, you know. It was basically at 0 when with COVID because everybody was home. That's that. That's what.
Okay, we'd like to keep that, good.
And the Lock It or Lose It campaign is strong, in effect. Please tell for yourselves and everyone else. What's happening is people are not locking the cars, if you don't unlock. So when the units are getting to the burglaries, they're not break-ins. And everybody keeps saying they're breaking, no, they're breaking to my cars. They're not breaking anything. They're opening a car that was unlocked. And of course, no one should be doing that, but they are.
So does it become a larceny?
It's still a burglary to a vehicle, yes. It's still a burglary, yeah. And on the sheet, it's not a larceny, it's actually a burglary because they went inside the car.
26.
26. But what happens is, and all of the surveillance is showing that when they check the car, if, you know, even people are leaving stuff in the car, but they're not smashing and breaking into the car. As of now, they haven't been doing that. They're just, it's a crime opportunity. They're checking the car and it opens. And one thing that they also noticed was the newer cars, the side mirrors are closing. And they're walking by looking at the car to see if they're closed or not. And if they're open, they go and they check the car, and definitely the car's open, because they know the newer cars are doing
Made
that.
their jobs easier for them.
Yes.
basically.
Yes, so then, you know, we can check too, if we have a newer car, to see if the cars have the side mirrors closed, and it helps. I also wanted to talk about, just for information, the incident at the park on Thursday last week, which I think you were there.
I'm going over there tonight. They want eyes and ears. We'll talk about that.
So there was a subject that we have been bowled out. This guy, they were looking for him in Broward. Here in the town, he had battered one of the maintenance guys and a resident already. But the guy just, it's like he comes by, hits you in the face, and he takes off. So he battered somebody pretty badly the other day too. He showed up at the park, kind of started harassing the kids, and I mean, Nancy was there, she could provide more info. They stepped in, the adults stepped in right away, called 911, units got there, automatically put him in cuffs, and he was arrested. He's still in jail. He wasn't able to bail out because he you know, he has so many batteries on file. So they were able to close all the batteries on him.
I have a question. I thought that we could like do not let him in here in the town. I mean, no matter if he's not doing anything, if he's walking around in the town, he will be picked up and, you know, taken to jail.
Well, that was because he was being looked for the crimes.
Yeah, but let's say that no, he's paid. I mean,
So now if they told him that he can't come back to the park.
the park or the town.
The park. No, he can't.
He can't be
He can't be
trespassed.
trespassed from the whole town.
From the whole town, but like, for example, if they tell you cannot trespass to the park, and then he going to the park, then he can get arrested, but if he's
Has
just
he
walking
found it
down.
out yet?
No, he's just walking down
Because he is
154.
homeless.
He's
so-
still in jail.
Okay. By the way, to bring that up, and this is not on the agenda, but dovetailing with what you're telling us about the incident. There were like 80 kids waiting to be signed up and assigned different categories of events that were going to take place for the Halloween event that ATF, yeah, Youth Activities Task Force has. I volunteer every year. It's my favorite thing. Now, that being said, we're all hanging out back. There's the lighting was terrible. We could not go to any of the rooms inside. 2 rooms were being used for meetings and 2 rooms were locked because that Monday was going to be the voting, had all the equipment and everything. So we were out back, it's dark, we're checking all the items that were in the storage room. One young man pointed out this guy was acting suspicious. If it hadn't been for that kid, who knows what would have happened. And
So let's give them a
someone
challenge,
brought up
challenge coin.
a challenge coin. What I'd like to do is, I don't want to do it down the road when we do another one of our appreciation ceremonies. I think this is so important. See something, say something. This is right up our alley. We've had the coins for a while. Let's do something. The next council meeting is my recommendation, or one after, however we can arrange this. You might be able to advise us in regard to that. And I would like to invite this young man and his family to come and be recognized by the council and the town for what he did. What do you think? I make a motion that I need a second and then a discussion.
When this
Be
is
clear about the
SB, right?
motions, we can, you just said, I make a motion at the end.
Yeah.
No, like the complete motion. I'm trying to get you guys back on
I
track
make
with the
a motion-
committees of
I make a
honor.
motion that we honor, find out who he is. They do have a name. I will ask tonight and invite him to come to a council meeting to receive a challenge call. Coin.
I'll second.
Thank you, George. Discussion?
Nope.
No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
You were silent. I thought maybe you had to be. No, okay. I just wanted to include you. Well,
Well, there's a council meeting, the last one of the year is actually Tuesday, November 1st. If you guys can get a hold of him by then and confirm, then I can try to work with the mayor's office to include it in the special presentations portion of the council
I
meeting.
checked with Brian tonight. Brian knows that kid. I'll probably see him tonight. if I get over
Do you want me
that.
to start coordinating with the mayor's office?
Please, yeah. So Tuesday, November 1st is the council meeting. What time? Or do they do that before the meetings now?
Yes.
There's something they're starting to do
Yeah,
differently now.
it's before.
It's before the meeting. Those start at what time? 7? Thank you. All right.
Yeah, so the actual council meeting starts at 6:30. So the presentation start at 6 p.m.
Okay, so 6 p.m. I'll just stay in touch with me, let me know how it goes. If they're all gonna be there, how it.
Well, I don't know who's gonna be there. The only role I play here is that I have to coordinate with the mayor's office, because they're the ones that coordinate any presentations.
Okay.
So he'll tell me, yes, we can do it. And if he tells me yes, I'll let you guys know.
And
You guys just show up at
or
6 p.m.
I tell the mayor the details or this or that,
If
and then
there's
we
any-
hear from him and he says yes, or that's all through you, and you just say to us, it's on.
Yeah, all I'm gonna do is confirm that, yes, we can include you in the presentation at 6 p.m. If you want to have a conversation with the mayor about what it is to give him the details, I mean, you can. That's no problem at all. No, you can. That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just confirming that, like, it is gonna be a part of the presentation. And if I get a yes, I'll send it to the whole committee, including the members that are not here, so that you guys can show up if you're able to and be there for that.
The state of the town addresses on Thursday.
Yes.
Is that at 6 or is that gonna be still at 6:30?
State of the town, I have it so many things.
On Thursday,
I believe it's a Thursday.
this Thursday, 2 days.
Yes.
Is it the
It
date
says
tonight?
6:30 p.m.
Okay.
Is this still 6A? Is that 6A or that's what's the, this motion? What was it? What
It
was
wasn't
the-
there, we're not following.
No, we didn't.
It should have been a
I'm sorry.
new item.
Yeah.
So you
Let's
can
call
make it 6F. Yeah.
We'll call it 6F, we just took it out of order,
Okay.
okay? Oh, I know why we got into it, I think, because it's right
The
after
reports, yeah.
the report.
Just to put it under something.
Yeah, 6F.
All right, I'm apologizing, guys, I lack of sleep.
I'm sorry, and what will be the name? 6F? What will be the
6F
name?
is challenge coin
Presentation.
presentation. Thank you, George. I'm gonna kidnap you. All right, let's go to the budget allocation, as you can see, they got forms, didn't they get these? Okay, this is gonna be our 20,
Give it to me, right?
well, it says 2301 to 23. I do not know what the heck that means, but nevertheless, it's the upcoming year's budget, which
It's not
starts October
upcoming.
1st.
It's the one we're currently in.
Yeah.
Oh, picky.
No, I don't want to
No,
confuse.
you are right, you are
If you were
100%
to
right.
say that it's the current one.
Can I go out and come back in? All right, thank you for that. But everybody is clear that is the current year's
Yeah.
and next year.
But we're gonna change it, right? I mean, not today, but,
It's
What do you mean change it?
it's gonna be
I mean,
moved
because we're
around.
gonna be more.
There's gonna be
around.
items moved around.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just running through this. All right, guys, we have been invited as extra eyes at the Youth Activities Task Force Halloween event, which will be held on October 29th, 22. I believe that they would want us there like around 6 PM, if I remember correctly. You do not have to attend. If you make it, you make it. If you can't. We will be provided with a vest and a lanyard that is lit up. I don't know anything about colors. I would like to think that we would want to wear our public safety committee shirts, because just regular clothes and the vest, I just feel like it's gonna be somebody saying, well, who are you?
Then you can just go.
You know, yeah. Short of. So that would be my recommendation, and it's going to be held at Mary Collins, not the building, but the Veterans Park area. Okay, Officer Amador, are you working that night?
We're gonna be there at 5.
But you're gonna be there at 5.
Yes.
I'm saying
A bunch of us.
6, but do you think we should be there at 5, so you're aware of who's coming and not? And should we hear anything perhaps that you guys want to pass on to us? We know we're not officers.
You know what? I would say yes and no at the same time, because we're gonna have our little roll call. But what, if you guys come in at 6, then we go and talk again, you know, or we're gonna be there at the park. So it won't be like a necessity to be
No,
there
but-
at 5.
But another thing too, so you guys see who we are. And, you know, they're not gonna make you wear lanyards, I don't think, but
Right, that's what I'm saying. At 6, you get there, we can all see, you know, who everybody is. I know who everybody is, but the other guys, right, they won't know.
coming from you and your supervisors giving the rules and whatevers, we need to be on the same page. We're not running our own show, this group.
Because
We're
let's
gonna
say you get
follow
there
your
at 5.
directions, and we're gonna wanna see you to know, we know you, but anybody else that if we have an issue, we can come to you. And we're working on walkies. I don't know what the heck is gonna go on with the walkie-talkies. I know Brian says he's got some. Again, I'm anxious to get over there tonight and hear more on it. But there will be more information, and if you all decide, yes, we want to do it, you all have my phone number, and we can nail down a few other question marks there may be. So, guys, would you want to participate? Would be who thinks they would like to and who will, and who can and cannot.
And the other thing too is, we don't have to do it, but they do have to tear it down. If it was gonna be at a different location, maybe we're gonna get a place where we didn't have to tear it down that very night. So we're meeting at 6, I believe, and then, I forgot what time it goes until 10 o'clock, is that it? I think
11
10 or
sometimes.
11, something like that.
What happens usually is they start tearing down the like the little 10x10s and stuff. The haunted house is light effects. So their part
Oh,
is
they're
their
good,
part,
and
you
they
know.
do their thing,
They
yes.
do the thing and they just stay doing the thing, but you know, the actual youth activity task force equipment is way less.
Well, not only that too, these kids have taken it out of the building, they've sorted it out, what they're gonna keep, what they're gonna use, who's gonna do what. They're very organized, very organized.
Yeah.
And when they tear it down, they're only responsible for their stuff that they put up or whatever. And you know, again, we're just there for.
So we can let
eyes.
them do that,
Yeah,
We've
we're there
never
for
been
eyes. If you
involved in
gotta
that.
leave, you gotta leave. That's it.
because we've never been involved in the tear down.
Yeah, and we're not there really for security and legal police issues and stuff like that. We're extra eyes. You see anything, we're gonna report to the police officers and that type of thing. It's just extra eyes there and, you know, assisting between
De unir a muchos
activities
planes.
people and the police, or middlemen. So, anybody who would like to, Omar?
Yeah.
George?
Do we need a
Nancy?
motion to participate to?
Yes, yeah. Do I hear a motion to participate?
Make
Aye.
a mo- Oh,
I said it.
No, go make it up.
No, what's gonna say?
All right, I've already written Johnny's name. Johnny. George,
Yeah, motion for us to participate.
and Omar second.
Yeah.
Any questions? Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Just real quick.
Okay, Veterans Day Parade.
Real
Okay,
quick,
yes.
Are you gonna get word to the committee members that are missing about this event in case they wanna assist us? Even though they're not at the meeting, can they be made aware of it in case they wanna participate? Or-
I can send them an email, be like, what do I tell them to report at 6 p.m.? What time did you say?
I don't want them just showing up. I'd rather know in advance who's coming, who's not coming, report to me.
So send
that
an
I can
email?
Fill them in on what Brian wants us to do and not do and what the rules are and all of that. They're
So
gonna
you
have to be filled
can, you
in.
can give them a call. I mean, that's not a voting matter. You guys already voted on the part. that
All
you're
right, then I
participating.
would rather call.
So send them an email and let them respond with
They
a
can
phone call.
contact me. Yeah, that would help.
Yeah.
That would be much,
Okay.
especially with all the other stuff I'm doing right now. Thank you, George.
Because the more eyes, the better.
Well, we have 10 kids, right? We're gonna have 10 kids.
Oh, yeah, something new this year. Different students participating from YATF have been asked to choose what they wanted to do. Haunted house, do this, do all the different events. And this year, Brian has assigned approximately 10 kids who wanted to be with the Public Safety Committee. So this is why and you can all join me, go over there tonight and find out exactly what they decided. I want to get the names of these kids. I've given them all my phone number already, because this is something I volunteer. This is nothing with Public Safety Committee itself. It's me as a volunteer. Now I asked if my committee members could come in, and I told them we would have a meeting tonight. So it's a combination of two things, but what I want you to know is that I know a couple of the kids on the group. They're really, really good, and they can report to us if they see something. They can report to the police officers that are going to be in uniform, and that's pretty much between them and Brian.
But
They'll also have a vest and a lanyard?
yes, vest and lanyards. Yeah, we'll know who they are. I don't know about walkie-talkies. We are working on that, trying to find out, we gotta know soon because they gotta charge them up. That kind of thing. If it's just gonna be we adults and not the kids, I don't know. Another thing we're gonna find out tonight, but we'll work out more details and I'll be in touch with you. I already know I've got 3 definites. Johnny, did I understand that you haven't sent anything yet? You
Not
haven't
yet, I need
volunteered?
to verify some logistics, and I'll let you get back.
I got you. That's fine. You have my number, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else on that?
You want me to answer?
All right. I'm sorry?
No, because I don't know if that's
Veterans Day Parade. Veterans Day Parade. Good news now. It was bad news before. We didn't have vehicles. So we were gonna have to provide our own or truck, or rent a truck, or whatever the heck we were gonna do. Now, from what I understand and have to confirm, there are vehicles being loaned for
Oh, okay.
people to use. Now, the thing is, we would be a committee. It's gonna be a pickup truck or this or that or the other thing. That's something I have to confirm. And I wanted to
Confirm
make
for you.
sure.
I'm the.
Oh, thank you. Good, because I don't know, the last I heard was they said, oh, no, somebody corrected me. It might have been, what's his name? Larry Borman or Hoot, one of those.
Just make sure, because it's a couple Corvettes.
That said
So
something.
what we have are Jeeps. And then, yeah, so we have our Jeeps. The drivers are gonna be driving their own cars because it's a group of people that are lending us their cars. So there's gonna be a driver per Jeep. That means that you guys don't have to worry about driving it or picking up the car. You just have to show up to the lineup registration area. If you do plan on attending as a committee, we're creating the things that go on the side of the cars, the decals that say Public Safety Committee. And the volunteers will put that on the cars for you guys. So you don't have to wear anything, you just have to show up. Please show up at 8:30 a.m. If you guys do not show up on time, you're getting sent to the back of the line. So that is the only,
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is one Jeep per?
it's 1 Jeep per committee and the Jeep only fits 2 to 3 people.
That's
So,
why I was
yeah.
Because you
So
already
it
have a
won't fit the
driver, so-
whole committee, but I mean, most of the time, not everybody's able to attend anyway, so just figure out between you guys who can or wants to be a part of it.
Whoever sits in a seat first.
But I just need to know if yes, you plan on using the Jeep and being represented in the parade or no, for the sake of lineup. That's all I need to know.
Well, I'll make it easy on you. I am doing the registration. So by the time I'm registering the last vehicle or person that comes, there's no way in heck I'm gonna jump on a Jeep in time to be part of that parade, unless the Jeep is at the end of the parade, and I'm not holding us to that. So I will not be riding in the parade, as far as I know. So, if it's just you 3 guys and you've got dibs on it right now, you got the first
I
Jeep,
can't
there
attend.
you go.
I can't attend,
So
So you can't attend. I'm sorry.
I'm out of town that weekend.
You're out of town that
My
weekend.
birthday. so I'm
Oh,
trying
what
to-
is
Ta-da,
the
ta-da.
I'm working the parade,
What are you
so
doing?
I'm sitting with
The
you.
parade.
Oh, I'm registering with you, and then when the parade start, I'm the one who let them out.
Okay,
So I
so
don't think I
neither
will be
one of
able
us can be
to.
in a Jeep.
No,
Oh,
we won't,
man.
we will be working on the parade.
You wanna be in a Jeep?
I'll be working the parade.
All right, so, but we do have 2 other members, 3 members.
I think that one would like to,
Another email.
oh, do we have a meeting? Oh, no. That's right.
I see that.
We got a meeting, we got a meeting on the 25th, don't we?
Yeah, it's before though.
Yeah, the parade
The
is
parade's
on the
before.
6th.
The parade is next week.
Next weekend, so yes.
I just need to know yes or no.
Well, I get a feeling
I
that
don't
it's
think we're
gonna
gonna
be a
be.
no.
Hmm?
We
We'll
can't
be
say
able to.
yes for guys that don't show up and take up the Jeep. It would be nice, but. Okay, so it's a no. So we don't even need a banner.
I'm sending them, so I just need to know like to create one for you guys or not.
All right, do we agree that
No.
we're not having a Jeep?
No, no. we don't wanna bring the Jeep.
Question mark. You are definitely needed because you're telling them when to start.
Mhm.
When you're done telling them when to start, are you still waving them on or you're done with your duties? Because when I check in the last vehicle, and there are some that are gonna be added to the end because they got there late, they're not gonna be number 5 in the parade, they're gonna be at the end of the parade because they got there late. We could always have one Jeep. But if you need to be boots on the ground kind of thing and not being able to jump in a Jeep at all,
Yeah.
then it's a no.
I
All right,
would not-
then
I
it's a
would not
no
risk.
all around. I'm not crazy about the idea that we won't have a banner and a Jeep, but I'm not gonna complicate things when it's not our event. What do you think?
I
So it's a
agree.
no,
I agree.
okay. Yeah, it's just common sense. It's just trying to be too many places at once. Okay, so that, now, I do believe if anybody like he and I, if you want to volunteer to, let's say, be on a street corner or directing traffic or something like that, I think that is still available and open, and they're welcome for anybody that can help out. I've already been told that. So keep that in mind. If something comes up and you know, you're not gonna ride in the parade, but you can do something at a street corner and help that way. Tell Lyle, call her.
Yes,
I could be in the
please
street
tell me,
corner.
don't just show.
But I'm not gonna get too
Yeah,
much.
yeah, don't just show up. No, I'm teasing, but poor girls, you know, always the last minute stuff that makes.
Well, the only 3 people that can actually go, I mean, be in the parade, they're not here, so.
Well,
Are we, by the way, are we having another meeting on that? No.
I'm not sure,
Oh.
but we are definitely having a lineup. Because that's important.
you're talking about the
Yeah,
parade
like, we
stuff.
need
I don't know about
yeah,
this,
yeah.
so let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so it's a no. But Omar and Nancy, anybody else doing any volunteering and helping out? Definitely yet. Right for now, it's Omar and me. Anybody else contact Kyle? Contacts you to say, hey, we can help. with-
Oh, yeah,
with,
just so
you
I
know,
can tell you where we need help if needed.
Right, okay, so right now, definitely Omar and Nancy. Okay.
So what's your personal number? So I can call you at 3 in the morning and tell you if I find out.
Well, yeah, she'll take calls anywhere from 3
My
on.
personal phone, not. But you can email me your comments.
All right, yeah, we're gonna suspend all projects, events, and everything else till not the October, this is October, that should have been November. Okay? Changing that to November. And we will discuss different events that we've talked about in the past. We might move some dates around, we might move how we do certain things. We're going to get into that and work on the budget.
I'll make a
Planning that.
suggestion for the budget,
Please.
since you guys had some money left over last time and all that. Before that happens, can you get some cool pens that say public safety on them? Real nice pens. People love pens.
What happened to the hat that we were planning to get?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. That's why I forgot all business. And I've done it. We didn't make copies, but I got estimates. Remember, we were supposed to turn the paperwork in on that Wednesday night. And here's what the question is. We're getting a pretty good rate. It's a local company right here in Hialeah. So at the time, we were gonna be under a bit of a crunch. We wanted the hats, we had to spend the money. Now, it's just a matter of us deciding. The hats would have our emblem on the front, and we would have to decide if we want the ones that have the snap adjustable thing in the back or the one with the buckle.
That's not
not.
the easiest, yeah.
I like the snaps.
Yeah, it's
I like
easy.
You know,
The others
sometimes
are
we get
mess.
swelled heads.
The hat is not for you guys, that's for them.
No,
Let him
it's
choose
the
what he
public safety taps, right?
It's the public safety committee.
Were our letters would be on it? PSC,
Our
whatever?
thing,
Logo.
logo.
Yeah.
on the wall
Okay.
straight, way beside. Yeah.
But how many of those?
And
have,
again, because we couldn't, I can't show you pictures tonight and you pick, it's not gonna get them to us any sooner, so we, by next month, I will have the pictures and you show me what you like and whatever. And we'll know better with our money situation and go from there.
They're navy blue to match your shirt.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
Wait a minute. Hold on. Are it gonna be for us, or we're gonna give them to the?
No, he's thinking of that thing that was proposed a long time ago, but when they're out in the sun, that was tabled. Right? Because it had to be the whole, it had to be the whole department.
no, then we're not.
Remember, that
Yeah, we'll
was,
just
something
deal
happened
with
with that. That's what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was,
Oh,
A long time
I'm
ago.
sorry. I'm on the wrong page.
No, but anyway, did I send you those? That's where we got messed up. We didn't have that meeting on Wednesday, so I maybe didn't ask you to print everything up. Because it was my
I think
understanding
you
that,
you asked me for something for that meeting, but not for today.
that's what I'm saying, that meeting, and then because that meeting was canceled, you
I mean,
never
if
had
you
to do
want,
it.
I
But do
can
you have the
share.
pictures? Did I send you, if I
You
send
sent
you
me
the
something.
pictures, then you ought to be able to at least maybe let them stand behind you and look.
Well, what I can do is I can send it to everyone.
Yeah.
So they can take a
Otherwise, I
look
think you'd have
before
to
the
see it on
next
my
meeting.
phone and you'd be cross-eyed trying to look at it.
I think that, no, I think that's a good idea too, because
We
we
do
do a lot of,
Outdoor.
outside activity that can, to help other committee. So I think that would be.
The picture I see are the ones that I had gotten the quote for last year.
This
That I
is a
shared with
company in Hialeah.
You sent me a quote, but you didn't send me a picture.
Oh, I forgot what he's showing. Let me see if there's something we can talk about while I try to find it, because otherwise.
Oh, yeah, I can.
You wanna do that?
I would like to, if it's possible, I would like to ask the police department, Robin, what can we do next year? What can we do for them? Anything that they might need, that we can help them.
Any raises?
More pay.
Except.
I wasn't married to a helper, not a kiddo.
Hey, we can't even,
Overtime.
we can't even get a good budget.
All right, guys, talk amongst yourselves. Hey, what happened at the park yesterday with the helicopter having to land? I saw them wheel a gurney from whatever those houses are on Montrose. And the rescue came, the fire truck came, they wheeled a person from the house across the street because they could cleared the park for the helicopter to land. Did you know about that? Yeah. just-
Can I ask him a question? Can I ask him a question?
We're kind of, are we allowed to take a recess? Even though we keep this
We-
on?
Okay, I mean,
Well,
it's not a big deal, but guys, we need to I'm just trying to get everybody back on track lately. Our
I know.
agendas and our items are not,
Well, we're done
so I'm
with
just gonna keep
everything. other than
reminding
the
all of you
pictures.
about any items that we need to
Of the
discuss,
caps.
need to be put on the agenda.
Right.
They
that's
need
what
to
I'm
be
saying.
added, they need to be done at deferral, addition, deletions part, and we need to keep the agenda moving.
Can we get a budget or a whip for
For what?
a whip?
For all of you.
A whip?
It's okay, I'm here
I
to
second
remind you
that.
guys to keep your.
Can I just ask him a question?
Yes, yes.
Last Sunday, I was at Starbucks early at 7, and the parking lot was trashed. I mean, there was tons of McDonald's wrappers. They even spray painted a male body part on the parking lot. The people from Starbucks were cleaning their furniture outside. Do you know, or have you received any complaints about kids hanging out in that parking lot late Saturday nights or Friday nights? Like they used to do at the 49th
Yeah,
Street, the Denny's and
the
Hanover?
food spots and all that.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything recently, but they used to at the food spots. That's where they were doing it.
I
So you're
think they
saying
had to
at the
move
Starbucks-
here to the Starbucks by the McDonald's,
Like
because
the
man,
McDonald's.
it was trashed. I mean, there was McDonald's paper wrappers all over the place.
Oh,
And then the poor girl at Starbucks was cleaning all the furniture because it was trash all over.
And you know that the only way that they can really stop that is if they close down the whole shopping plaza, like the entrances, because unless they're not committing a crime,
Yeah.
they can't be
Other
told to
than the
leave,
graffiti.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
I
Absolutely,
mean,
yeah.
I don't know what else, because then McDonald's gonna argue, we need our drive-through open because we're open 24 hours.
Right. Yeah, it has to be that they're like blocking something or like, or the graffiti, like a crime.
Yeah.
Because for them loitering, not like before,
Yeah.
there's no more loitering,
No,
you gotta leave, no?
I assume
Stay
they were just
there.
hanging out and eating and probably music out loud or something. I should have taken a picture of the graffiti. It's probably still there.
And you never know. I've heard that some of these places you think, oh, you look at it, oh my God, they're ordering there. But the businesses love it because they're buying, they're consuming.
I'm thinking everything's closed by the time they get there. They probably roll around and hey, let's meet over here.
So you didn't see them actually there?
No, I got
Oh,
there
it
at
was the
7,
actual.
yeah, 7 in the morning,
Okay.
so nobody had a chance to clean anything up and it was trash.
Well, I remember before I got, like I said, one of the time that I rode along, we went to right there to barbecue places.
Where the Latin America Shopping Center is,
Right,
that gas station. is,
because
Where the CVS and the.
one
Mobil
of the
gas station.
girls, they used to get together in cars and then they used to talk and all that. And I think one of the girls got touched, or somebody touched a girl or something. So I went with the police officer, by then he wrote the report, but are they still doing that or no? Are they still hanging out in the, because that's what we used to do, eh?
It's where the Chipotle is.
Yeah.
I think they moved over to the Starbucks.
Well, what happened with the COVID, everything got, everything got shut down with
I
COVID.
know.
But you bring up something that actually I was made aware of recently. People have been calling about homeless people at the 7-Eleven.
Excuse me 1 second. I can't find the pictures of the cats. I did not send them to you.
You sent me the quotes.
The quote, but not the pictures? All right, we will table that part of it
Okay.
for next month anyway. And I recommend
Motion?
I motion that we close the meeting.
Second.
Got a second? Meeting adjourned at 8:06. And now